Okay, and then dehumanized physical environment. Everything in your body is always about chemicals. What you see and what you don't see will influence you. Example, there's water in this bottle. Why do you think this bottle is colored blue? Because when you see blue, your brain produces 11 different neurotransmitters that speeds up learning than when you see white, black, or gray. White, black, or gray are the least preferred colors of your brain. So it shouldn't dominate a learning environment or a healing environment because it's boring. And think about what colors dominate school environments. And 80% of corporate environments are dominated by black, white, and gray. And now we wonder, why is people not always performing? Research tells us that people who recover in an environment where they can see green plants and blue skies will recover up to 30% faster after surgery than those who recover in a white, sterile environment. Fact. Because we produce more of these things. And that's the good feel that also some of these chemicals even strengthen your immune system. So you heal faster. Hence the reason why hospitals are now painted different pastel colors and not just white anymore. So, what I smell. For instance, what is, says something stinks. It's because I respond like this. But if something is nice, I smell floral odors, fruit odors. Wow, that's nice. What is nice? When my body speaks to me and says, this is a good chemical, this is good feel that I'm producing. So everything, your senses are the doors to your brain. What you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch will have either a positive or negative biochemical impact on your environment. And the golden rule, the more humanized your environment is, the more natural you will respond. The more artificial your environment is, the more you will have a negative response to that, medium to long term. So what does it sound like and look like and smell like and feel like in the environments in which you learn? For instance, plastic creates lackluster performance. In Session Mine, they have these vehicles that, just the tire is 300,000 rands. It is double the size of me. It's the 56-ton vehicles. There's no room for error when people drive those things in an open cast mine. It's going to cost lives and millions of damage when there's a oops. Simple thing like productivity was going down amongst these guys. And absenteeism was on the increase. We started assessing what does their life and their world look like. And we realized, whoa, these guys have plastic steering wheels. Plastic creates lackluster performance. We changed plastic steering wheels with leather steering wheels that you hold on to for 8 to 12 hours in a day. Change in productivity. We humanized the cabin, what it sounds like, what it looks like, what it feels like, even what it smells like. A guy who smokes in the cabin, when the next guy comes on shift, can't inherit the truck where the previous guy smoked, because it stinks inside for the non-smoker. So, simple things. This is the day you've got to pay attention to small things that sometimes may have a significant impact on the productivity in the world of work. And then, obviously, your energy, that 20 to 25 watts of electricity that you produce comes from a combination of the water you drink, the food you eat, and the oxygen that you breathe. So, is your diet brain-friendly? Or does it consist of processed foods and flavorants and colorants and even substances like MSG or tartrazine that may actually cause cancer and even damage your brain cells and negatively impact your memory? So these 6 drivers will significantly impact your performance. So yes, I may have, let's say we talk about a rugby player. I may have exceptional physical talent. But I tell you still, you take any of these factors that is not taken into consideration will have an impact on that person's performance in the bigger picture. So you need to think about these things, whereas often in our world, we think, let's say we talk about rugby, you know, physical strength, physical approach, big guys, technique. But what about the mental stuff? And what about the impact of things like brain fitness, a big match temperament, and stress? And how effectively you cope and deal with that. So we look at this brain fitness. What is brain fitness? It's the two brain hemispheres that you utilize simultaneously. We talk about a neuroscientific approach towards leadership. First point of departure, effective leaders utilize and have access to all areas of the brain, even during stress. I just want you to do the following with me, please. As you sit there, clap your hand, cross over, touch your nose and your ear, and then switch over to the other side. Okay, and can you see here, when you do this simple activity for a moment there, I must think what I must do. Can you see, this is what we call a bilateral activity. Who of you are teachers here? Anyone who have got a teaching background? Okay, but for those of you who have got a teaching background, in education you've learned about the child with midline crossing difficulties. That's the child who starts utilizing the brain in alternate fashion when they're still small. If you work with in the police force, you will find some of the new police recruits who march like this. Same hand, same foot. And if you work with semi and illiterate people and you want to do some literacy training with them, you say to them, do this. They look at you like this and I'll do that. So when I do this, I use only this hemisphere. When I do this, only that hemisphere. I alternate between the two hemispheres. So can you see, I can be Einstein with a head full of brain cells, but if I access and utilize only half of that at a given time, it's going to slow me down. It's like you say to me, Andre, go to the parking lot, but I jump on one leg. I'll get there, but it's going to take me longer. I'm going to be slower and it's going to be harder for me. That's how learning and thinking for many people are. So we talk about really you being the best you can be. It means you need to push yourself up on that line. The good news, through development, that's what we do. We utilize both, so every person can learn to utilize both sides of the brain. Bad news, even if I become brain fit, if I don't constantly keep on practicing, I'm not going to stay brain fit. I will lose it. If I don't use it, I lose it. So just like physical fitness, mental brain fitness says it's one thing to become a very fit person, it's another challenge to stay there. I just recently worked with a business associate, but he's at a university where they work with the students. And this man is a great academic. He's got a great academic track record. But he's 18 months from retirement now. And he's there. And I saw when we did this exercise, he was, yes, how is this possible? And the thing is, he has been, without a doubt, there for most of his life, I'm sure. But he's starting to give over projects to other people. He's not publishing anymore. He's starting to, to take it slow now. This is the challenge. If you don't consistently keep on sharpening the saw, you can't be the best that you can be. So this is not about becoming brain fit once in life and then you're just automatically going to stay there. It's one thing to get there. It's another challenge to sharpen the saw so you can stay there. Okay, so there are many. If you look at brain fitness, it's a conglomeration of the right chemicals that you produce and then also doing physical and mental activities that's going to keep you in the zone and getting the two hemispheres to communicate with each other simultaneously. Okay, so for instance, simple lifestyle things like doing cross-lateral movement activities like swimming, playing chess, playing a musical instrument, going for a good jog where I still work crossed over, cross-lateral, then I still maintain it. But if I don't take actions, I'm going to lose it. Many Africans have their children on their back when the child is born. After they're born, the child grows up on mommy's back. Instead of crawling, baby is on mommy's back. And for understandable reasons, because the environment is too rough for that child to crawl on. But crawling is the first where I've learned to start learning to function in a cross-lateral way. And if the child skips that development phase, of course, no wonder they will do this. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. The good news is every person can learn to function bilateral. You just got to get the exposure. And then you've got to stay in that mode. Throughout school and life, you should be exposed to physical and mental activities like chess and music and sport that will keep you in that zone. And if I don't use it, I will start losing it. Even if I've been a great mind that impacted the world significantly, when I start retiring here and I instruct this game over, then don't be surprised when it's going to be game over. First thing. But when I'm there, this is where, now, let's say I have to walk to the parking lot. I use both legs, ease. And if I'm fit, I can run there. So now it happens fast, smart, and I experience ease with learning. This is a vital prerequisite for leadership. A leader is most of the times normally the top performer in the organization. And if we want to be inspirational examples of how things should be done, how to do my job, I need to be the guy who also should be most switched on. So, simple but powerful point of the